And in the beginning, God said, let there be light. Keyword said, a sound vibration. Now, this Hebrew and biblical creation myth of God speaking life into existence is actually not just reserved for the Bible. This is the rabbit hole that I've been down lately, and what I discovered is that in almost every spiritual and religious text, the creation myth begins with some form of sound vibration. So in ancient Egypt, the god Ptah felt into his heart, ba-doom, ba-doom, and then spoke life into existence. In Aztec mythology, the god, and I'm going to butcher this, Quetzalcoatl, I don't know how to say it, used the conch shell to create the vibration of life. In ancient Native American mythology, it is the raven's thump of his wing, a sound vibration. In Hinduism, the breath of life. And what's really, really interesting about that is as I started to dive into this, like, what were the ancients onto here? Why was sound the beginning of life in most of these creation myths? I realized that in the womb, the first organ to develop of an embryo is the heart. Boom, boom, boom. And if you've ever been pregnant or you're planning on getting pregnant, you'll know that at your 12-week scan, the doctors use ultrasound technology to detect a heartbeat. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. And if there's no heartbeat, the doctors know you're about to miscarry. There's no life here. In other words, the very first thing we do as a human is emit a sound vibration. And in fact, when we come out of the womb, it's also a sound vibration. Life. The very first sense that the embryo develops in the womb is the inner ear sound. So sound is so much more than just a tool for communication. It is a vibration that organizes and possibly creates life itself. Our heart is our vibrational sound machine. It is sending sound waves. And if you're into the law of attraction or manifestation, and you understand the principles of vibrational points of attraction, then this is the engine that brings back all the goodness or all the things to you. This is your point of attraction, your heart. If you've ever been to a Dr. Joe Dispenza event, I have a client who has been going to many of these, and he had a huge expansion at one of his events. So Dr. Joe Dispenza is known for breath work, basically. But it's not just breath work. He takes you into your heart, and that's how he activates you. Breath work on its own, okay. But once you connect it to this vibrational engine that you possess, takes things to the next level. Which begs the question, how do you strengthen your vibration? How do you make sure that the signal that you're sending out with your heart is strong and it brings you back those things that you desire from life? Well, first of all, there's the physical part, right? Looking after cardiovascular exercise, making sure you're putting good fuel in your body, right? You're not clogging up your arteries with cholesterol and all these other sugars and stuff, processed foods. That's important. But also the thoughts, the perspectives, the beliefs that we have. The heart loves love. It loves gratitude. It loves awe. It loves appreciation. It loves those high emotional green vibrations. So, what are some tools that we can use in the modern day that ancients understood and have been using for thousands and thousands of years to support us to create a stronger point of attraction, a strong vibration? Well, this is what I discovered with sound, that there's actually some power words, some power sounds that the ancients have been using across centuries that activate different energies within us. So I'm going to take you through, I'm going to share these with you, and then we're going to do an exercise together, if you will. You might feel silly doing this, but I promise you you're going to feel it. I want you to practically feel this. I want you to experience this rather than just theoretically thinking about these concepts. I want you to understand how to apply these tools because they're free and they're super simple to do. So some of the power words, this is just a sample of the ancient power words that our ancestors and different civilizations were using to heal, to transform, to nurture. The first one is one that you're probably very familiar with. This is in Hinduism, and it is the breath of life. It is considered the breath of life. And as you do it, and we'll go through an exercise together, but I want you to notice like what kind of energy moves through you, because different sounds will evoke different types of energies and can be used for different scenarios. For example, I was working out this morning, and one of the exercises was my arms, and I was dying, and I was going, it sounded like I was giving birth. And it's funny, if you go to the gym, that's a very similar, I'm not the only one who does that. It sounds sexual. That sound helps us to somehow absorb the density of physical exertion. So different sounds are able to activate different powers within you, different life force within you. Isn't that cool? So is a very common one. Or Another power word that's been used across the centuries is amen. Amen. Or amen if you're in Muslim. Now this also means, and so it is. It is done. It is done. Amen. Amen. Notice how similar it sounds to Now that is, Hebrew, Islamic, and biblical. Now in Sufism, we have hu, H-U. Hu. Hu. Like that one for me feels like I'm about to be a warrior, like hu. It also feels like a sound that can absorb. It means the breath of God. The breath of God. Very similar to right? The breath of life, the breath of God. And then we also have not so much words, but we have frequencies of sound. And one of the ones, if you're a native English speaker, that you probably learned when you were growing up is our vowels. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. That one put me in my play. So we're going to do a quick exercise together, okay? We're going to go through 3 sounds or words. We're going to do each one 3 times, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to notice where you feel it in your body and what kind of energy it activates for you. Does it make you feel energized? Does it make you feel present? Does it make you feel strong? Does it make you feel at peace? Different sounds are going to do different things for each one of us, okay? So in many ways, it's a process of dating yourself with some of these frequencies, these sounds. But this is really about learning how to use your vocal cords to create a vibration, a sound vibration, to help your nervous system, to calm your mind, to bring you back so that you can let go of it, all these dense emotions and anxieties and beliefs and stories. And this is not woo. First of all, let's be clear here. Our modern medicine and science uses sound to heal, ultrasound. This is how we get rid of kidney stones. Ultrasound technology is how we look at bone density. It's how we look at pregnancy and the health of an embryo. We're using sound all the time. They know, they've done a lot of studies that sound frequencies activate the vagus nerve. So this is something that our science is backing up. Our ancestors knew this and our science is backing this up now, okay? Now the cool thing is, yes, you can listen to binaural beats. Sometimes I do that. I meditate. I listen to brain entrainment frequencies, binaural beats, isochronic beats on YouTube. I sometimes use a tool called Brain FM, which is frequencies based on my birth chart. I'll put a link below if you guys want to check that out. But all of this to say, you also have a vocal cord. You also have a voice. Even deaf people can hear vibrations, can feel vibrations. They can hear. Maybe not in the way you can, but we feel vibrations. So this is about you learning and remembering to use a tool that your ancestors have been using for so long to overcome grief and traumas and illnesses and fears and unknowns, and something that we know with science supports your nervous system, supports your emotional well-being, your mental health. And you have it right there, and it's free. And most of us are not doing this. It's a lost art. It's a lost art, okay? Now, we're going to actually connect this with our heart as we do these sounds. Try to place your hand on your heart, all right? And feel into your heart. Let's take a deep breath together. And exhale. Okay, let's start with the sound We're going to do it 3 times. Let's go. So for me, when I'm expressing this sound, I feel it here first, and then it moves up in my throat and it starts to tickle my lips. And for me, that sound is a very present moment sound, vibration. It's like I'm not thinking about the future editing this video, or I'm not thinking about the past. I'm here. I'm here. That's what that sound does to me. What did it do for you? Let me know in the comments. Let's try another power frequency. This one is the HU, H-U, okay? Again, feel into your heart. See if you can connect that vibration to your heart, all right? And let's go. HU. That one puts me in my play. Let's go again. Hoo. Hoo. Ooh, I feel like this vibration would be very good to absorb pain and density. Like, ooh, if you're trying to process that, ooh, it absorbs it. It pattern interrupts that frequency, the density of maybe confusion or depression or anxiety or heartbreak or grief. Ooh, what a powerful, that one, yeah, it's like I feel strong. Like I feel like, I can come out. In Hebrew, in Judaism, Yahweh, right? The God, life. And a lot of scholars suspect that this is based off in the inhale and exhale. Yahweh. 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 Try that one. Let me know how you feel that one. That one feels much softer than the last frequency we did. Yeah, it feels like a wave. Let's do one more sound, okay? And this time we're going to do 3 times. This is just going to be a sound, not a word. We're going to go like Feel into your heart on let's go. Like like an engine. Or maybe it's oh, that was weird. That's like, bring me some more, universe. More, please. That's a nice sound. That's like, yeah, that's like a hedonistic sound. Like you're enjoying, you're reveling. You're like, yes, please. What a sound of that's a sound of gratitude, right? Like, So different sound frequencies can be used to pattern interrupt dense emotions that you might be experiencing. If you're feeling financially stressed out right now, play around, date some of these sounds or these words and see which one helps you to, the polarity of anxiety is play, is courage. See which one of those frequencies evoke courage. Maybe it's the who. Which one of those frequencies puts you in play? Maybe it's the Hakuna Matata. Just, right? There's no rule book. The premise is a sound vibration is so much more than just communication. Maybe it's communication with the universe. Maybe that is how God understands us, is through the thump of our heart, through the vocal cords. Maybe this is why every spiritual text and every esoteric text and every religious text has always said, be careful with your word. Abracadabra, I create as I speak, as I speak. Maybe the ancestors, the ancients were onto something here. Sound, vibration is not just music and a way to talk to each other. It is the essence of life itself. And when you begin to use this tool with your heart and you look after your heart, both physically and in thought and in love and in emotion, and you use your vocal cords, you have available to you a free tool to change the circumstances of your life, and if nothing else, to make the rest of your day a whole lot better. Let me know how this landed for you, what you experienced as we went through this exercise together. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe. That would mean the world to me. And be sure to grab your copy of my ebook, my book, paperback, ebook, audiobook, Magic Source Codes, where I decode further ancient wisdom for the modern mind. Thank you once again, and I'll see you on the next one.